My first job after high school was as an usher at the theater. My second job after high school was as a DJ. I worked at a club called Faces for about 2 years. Back then, DJing was kind of anonymous. You're in a booth in the back. People would come up and ask you to play Michael Jackson. And I would go down to a place called Tacoma across the border, which had a nearby base. So a lot of black people were at the army base, and they had record stores that would have funk and hip-hop music that you couldn't get in Vancouver. So I would make these pilgrimages down there to get my records. I was doing tape pause button remakes on my cassette machine, and I learned how to do Grandmaster DST's bit mixing The Wild Style and Rocket by Herbie Hancock. Nobody knew the music I was remixing, so they couldn't tell I was doing a remix. Mixtapes is a loophole to allow people to go back to what feels like the right thing to do, which is to use existing cultural media as raw material for making new work. Luanda-Kinshasa is a video inspired by what I saw in Miles Davis's work from the 1970s. One of my favorite records of all time is On the Corner by Miles Davis. He'd already integrated funk and rock into jazz music, but he was trying to bring in Indian classical music. And somehow thought this would be a real hit with the kids. But of course, it was his worst selling ever, but it's a pretty amazing piece of music. Around the time he made that record, a song called Soul Makossa by Manu Dibango was a huge hit in the disco underground in New York City. What if he brought in Afrobeat as part of that mix he was doing? And that's what we try to realize in Luanda-Kinshasa. This is the very tenuous connection between the two things, which is really more an aesthetic feeling than anything else. Self-inspiration for Luanda-Kinshasa is I love this record On the Corner, and I wanted to hear more. The more general reason for it is that Miles Davis could have made more, but this was his last studio record in the 1970s. In my work, I want to go back to these possibilities of what if there's another way of considering history. But the whole thing, in a way, is a constructed idea of a utopia. Utopia means no place. It's a place that you may sort of strive to get to, but you can't necessarily get there. This utopian moment of all these people from different cultures is realized out of all these diverse influences. It looks spontaneous, it looks live. It looks like people are looking across the space to each other, but this only exists in the form of this edit. Luanda-Kinshasa is 6 hours long, but if you watch it over time, you'll realize that, oh, I've heard that motif before. I've seen exactly that shot before. Often musical forms appear in my work, and this idea of polyphony appears again and again. Polyphony is like when a DJ plays two records simultaneously. You have song A and song B. When they play together, they make a third song. Everyone gets inspiration from somewhere. Nothing comes out of a void. Everything comes out of my experience of the world, what I've read, where I've gone, what I've seen, who I've met. We're always basing it on something. I'm just being honest of where it came from.